Hey everybody, Psychosaurus is here. Now you might have been playing Age of Empires Online for some time, you've already reached level 40, you've been farming Elite and Alliance quest, got some nice gear, and now you wanna be like your most favorite YouTuber and wanna do some legendary quests. But you don't know which quest should you try first or which quest should you rather avoid until you're ready. And that's why you're watching this video. I'm gonna recommend you some legendary quests. Now before I start, remember that you might prefer playing in co-op or maybe even using consumables. Rather not, okay? This should make learning the quest a little bit easier for you and then you might be able to solo it anyways. I think there are many players willing to help you. Just ask in the chat or try the Project Celeste Discord. Someone might show up. And now let's get to my list. I wrote down some legendary quests and then I also categorized them, so let's start with your first legendary quest. And number one that I would recommend would be The Last Renegade Escapade. This is a quest you can find in Cyprus and in my opinion it's actually one of the easiest quests. Nice thing about this quest is that there's only one enemy base, so there won't be many units coming at you at all, and the attacks are actually pretty small. And the side objective says also train only spearmen and villagers. Pretty much all you have to do here is just build up your economy and start spamming spearmen, and the quest pretty much is done. I think there's not much to say about this quest. It's really easy, just go ahead, try this one. The enemy also does not get bonus versus your infantry, so your spearmen should not be dying that much. For second quest that I would recommend to start with is the Tamiya Triple Time. This quest is a little bit more difficult than the Renegades, and that is because the enemy units drops a lot of infantry units, so be ready for those. There's gonna be quite a lot of them, they will be coming quite often. The best way to deal with those is to build some towers at the coast where they are dropping them and destroy the merchant transports before they actually reach the shore. This quest is also nice because it is water map, so it's good for practicing the water battles. And that's actually what you want to do, get on the water as soon as possible and destroy the enemy docks so they stop producing their navy and they stop producing their merchant transports. This quest has been recently updated and the enemy should not rebuild their docks. So now it should be much faster than in my video, since it was really annoying that when I destroyed the dogs and a few minutes later I saw another ships coming at me. Really annoying. So now it should be less annoying. You should just destroy the dogs and then just take out the bases, no problem. So very easy. Again, enemy does not get bonus against your units, so they are not as strong as in some, but most of the other quests. So it's a little bit easier on you and you can pretty much take as much time as you like. And the side objective, yeah, no problem at all. Just destroy the dogs and then take out the siege boats as well. Okay, now let's move on some easier quests for you to play. And number one that I would recommend here is recapturing Paphos. This quest is very easy, but this is the first quest where you have a timer. It's not bad. It's 40 minutes for the quest, but there's also secondary objective where you are supposed to beat it 15 minutes sooner, so overall 25 minutes for the quest. If you're playing it for the first time, yeah, you can ignore the timer, just learn the quest. This quest can be quite annoying early because the enemy is gonna start attacking quite soon. Be ready for a small wave of spearmen early, and then later they'll be also sending battering rams, and battering rams are really annoying, especially since most civs don't have anti-siege units, so the only way to deal with those is get a lot of units, preferably melee units. And that's pretty much all about the quest, just learn how to defend, and then it's just pushing into the bases and killing the generals, destroying the fortresses. You have access to siege, so getting few polytons should not be a problem, or throwers if you're playing as Celts or Norse. For second quest that I would recommend is recapturing Marion. Now this can be a little bit difficult for new legendary players, but I think you can deal with it. This is actually first quest where you will find elite siege units. and it can be quite annoying to deal with them for beginners, but once you learn how to deal with them, it's not a huge problem. And the only issue in this quest is gonna be just destroying the fortresses and getting through the walls. There are 3 bases in total, 2 on the sides and the 1 main base. Now it's your choice whether you destroy both side bases or only one and just push to the main base. I would recommend destroying both bases since it will make pushing to the main base much easier. And in the main base, try to destroy the siege workshop as soon as possible because the siege units are actually not trained but spawn there. So when you destroy it, the siege units will stop coming at you and it will be much easier. Since you lack the siege units, it might be difficult for you to destroy the fortresses since they have almost 30,000 health. But remember, there's always a way to destroy the fortress even without a siege. It's just gonna take a little bit longer unless you're Egyptian or Celt. The early attacks are pretty much just cavalry units, so just few spearmen early should help you defend against those. And then it's pretty much your choice what you do. Also beware the water close to the right base. There's a patrol of naval units. And the last quest I would recommend, and don't get fooled by the name, is called Impossible Cataclysm. This one you will find in Argus. This quest combines water and land battles. What you should do here is try to disable the northern base docks so they don't drop units on your island, and then just take out the enemy base that is on the same island just as your base. You start with a lot of resources, so you should be able to reach Silver Age right at the start of the quest and build up some army and your base. There's also a time challenge where you're supposed to destroy a nearby fortress. You have 4 minutes for that. This can be a little bit annoying early, but I think you can find a way. There's actually a trick how to deal with the fortress, so any Civ can pretty much destroy it in time. All you have to do is pretty much let the fortress attack one of your units and then put the unit on a patrol, because the fortress targets the area the unit should be at when the arrows land at the area. So when the unit is on patrol, it moves back and forth and the fortress is aiming at the areas further away, so it should always miss. Try it and you'll see the fortress is actually pretty easy to destroy. Okay, now that you know how to beat some of the easier quests, you might want to know which quests should you use for farming. There's quite a lot of quests, so there are a lot of choices. Now, which choices will be probably the best for you? So number 1 that I would recommend here is Holy Man. The quest is actually very easy. All you have to do is pretty much wall the water crossing, which is actually revealed at the beginning of the quest, and you are actually walking across it with your priest. Just build a wall there. The red base will not send units into your base, and you should be able to just build up and get your defenses against the orange base. Also remember, don't reach Silver Age and don't build too many military buildings too soon. If you do that, the orange base will start sending more units, and there's also gonna be a group of Hippicans spawned at the bottom corner of the map. You don't want to deal with that too soon. Other than that, it's pretty easy quest. For second quest, I would recommend Firium Oasis. This quest might need some practice for the time challenge to destroy 80 elite ships, but once you get used to it, it's pretty much free rewards. All you need to do here is pretty much just destroy the enemy docks so they don't rebuild their navy, and then just take out the bases. Also remember where the enemy captain ships are and try to avoid them until you're ready to deal with them. Try spending first 15 minutes on the time challenge, and after that just focus on the docks. That's all you have to do pretty much. The next quest is More Mad Medians in Mesopotamia. This quest is actually pretty easy once you survive the first waves of units, and it's pretty much like the only challenge of the quest, surviving the first waves. Make sure you have enough units to deal with lancers, infantry and ranged units. I also recommend building a fortress. There's one entrance you can build fortress there, and make the fortress focus on the ranged units depending on your army composition. If you have infantry, focus on the bowmen. If you have ranged, yeah, focus the slingers. I suggest mainly producing spearmen for the early defense, since it's easier to build barracks and just spam spearmen than anything else. After that, just focus on the right base and then just go into the other two bases. And don't forget to kill the generals. Next one is recapturing Helheim. This quest might take a little bit of practice at pushing, but once you get used to it, it's not that difficult. Remember to build a wall at the northern entrance if you are player 1, and the enemy will never come your way no matter what. So then you just have free time to build up your economy, build up your army, get your upgrades, and then just push to the left. The most difficult part about this quest is just destroying the left bases where the manfall is. Once you destroy the manfall's base, it's just pushed to the priest's base, and that base is very easy. Another quest on my list is actually one of our quests, and that is the village of size. This quest can be difficult for slower players, so if you think you're one of the slower players, you might want to avoid it, or you can just ignore the timer for the secondary objective. Once you get used to it, you can do it pretty fast, so it's just a lot of chests. Nice thing is there's a lot of camps. Just remember, destroy the central base and then go on the bottom base. Don't destroy the gates leading to the northern base. If you do that, the northern enemy will start sending units your way. Also remember, you can put Palintonons below the southern base and just destroy the town center without the need of entering the base. Okay, next one is Giza, and this quest might take a little bit of practice because you kinda have to be fast for the secondary objective, but it's pretty easy quest. You can do it once you get used to it. The best way to deal with this quest is just to go for fast units, take out the southern base first, then go for the central base, and then go for the right base where the enemy priest is. This map is huge, that's why you should use fast units, so cavalry, wolf traders, best option for you. If you have problem with the timer, yeah, don't worry about it. It might take some time to learn how to deal with the quest properly. Try to destroy the enemy production as soon as possible so you don't have to fight that many units, and just kill the remaining groups and destroy the TC and everything else. Remember to kill all the villagers so they don't rebuild the base. Similar to this quest is also Dashur, but I think Giza is a little bit easier. And the last one on my list is Invasion of Verona. This quest can be very annoying, okay? The enemy just sends so many units, it's quite annoying to defend, and then also protecting the villagers on the road can be quite annoying. But if you learn how to do it, you can get a lot of chests in just 20 minutes of playing a single quest. That's a lot of rewards, and if you ignore the camps, yeah, you can be pretty much done in like 22 minutes with all the secondary objectives. But like I said, it's very annoying, a lot of units, be ready for it. Also remember, the enemy will also try to build towers on the road, so make sure they don't build those. Okay, these were the quests I would recommend you to play. Now let's take a look at quests which you should try to avoid or keep them last for the final challenge. And the first one, well, those are actually two quests, is Susa in Strife together with Euphrates in this order. The problem with this quest is those two are not actually that difficult. The issue is actually making the time challenge, beating the quest 15 minutes earlier than the timer says. So that means you have to beat the quest in 25 minutes. Now Susa is actually a pretty huge map, so you have to clear the bases as fast as possible, which can be quite annoying, especially the top base. The enemy just trains so many units, you'll be wondering how are you even supposed to do it in time. And the same thing you can say about Euphrates, but it's about the left base. Another quest to avoid is Brenos attacks. This quest is actually very, and believe me, very difficult. The worst part about this quest is like the early game where you have to defend your base and you start in the first age and don't have that many resources. So you have to really work fast, you have to work as efficiently as possible to just defend And once you are ready to attack, well, that's not an easy task either. Pretty much you want to destroy the left base as soon as possible, destroy the ship that's there, and then just move on to the other bases. And there's also a crossroad, so when you decide to go into the top bases, which you should first, the right base is just gonna keep sending infantry units at you, so you also have to defend against the right base. And if you decide to go after the right base first, well, obviously the top base. Nice thing is that the right base is sending only infantry, so it might be easier for you to deal with those units than with the whole mixture coming from the top bases. And the other issue with this quest is making it in time. You have only an hour for this quest, and believe me, it's very annoying when you spend so much time in this quest and then you just lose because you did not make it in time. I think the timer is really stupid and it should be a little bit longer. I would give it at least 20 minutes, to be honest. Making it in time is just... sometimes it feels like an impossible task, to be honest. But I think it's totally possible. I did it with 2 sieves already, but believe me, you don't want to play this quest that much. Maybe in co-op, okay? Maybe in co-op. And the last quest to avoid is the Valley of Kings. Just like in Mirror's Attacks, this quest is very annoying early. The enemy units just send a lot of units at you, so the early game is about defending. Also, there's a time challenge where you are supposed to destroy the Wanderer in 5 minutes. So you have to work fast, destroy the Wanderer, and then you also have to defend. So that's a lot of work for you for the early game. And even if you ignore the time challenge, just defending the base can be quite difficult. And by quite, I mean very. And if you manage to actually defend, then you just have to destroy one base, either left corner or right corner base. I prefer the left corner since it's much easier to get there. There's only like 1 or 2 gates and you're not walking through a canyon of death where there are towers on the sides, so it should be much easier to deal with the left base. And if you can do that, the quest is actually pretty easy after that. You just focus on the right base, and if you destroy the right base, the quest is pretty much beaten. All you have to do is just finish the tasks and you're done. But yeah, the worst part is defending early. Just learn how to defend early and learn how to build up your economy there, and that's pretty much all about the quest. But really, it's very difficult. Try to avoid it, keep it for the last challenge. And that's my list of recommended legendary quests. Now before I end this, there's one more quest I want to recommend for practicing, and that is Battle of Office. Personally, I like this quest. In this quest you start in Silver Age with a lot of resources. So one thing good to practice here is your early game, because you have free time, free 10 minutes before the enemy starts coming. Learn how to build up your economy fast and then just build up your army as well. And then you can just send the army to destroy the barracks, all within 10 minutes. Another nice thing about this quest is your infantry units get bonus against buildings. So you can actually destroy the walls just by training infantry, and this actually makes up for the lack of siege. And since you have to destroy walls with like 80,000 health, this helps a lot. Another really nice thing about this quest is that the enemy units don't get armor upgrades, so it should be a lot easier for you to kill enemy units. Now yes, I agree, there's gonna be a lot of units spawning and coming at you, and there's nothing you can do about it pretty much until a certain point. But it's also a good practice because you have to learn how to deal with these large groups of enemy units, and because they lack the armor upgrades, it's actually quite easy for you to kill them, and you can practice it. The worst part about this quest is the mountain where the enemy units spawn, and most people hate it just because of the mountain, since you have to walk around the mountain and they send a lot of ranged units including priests. It can be quite annoying, but you can also use the mountain to your advantage if you know how. And that's all the quests I would recommend. Do you like the list? Would you add some other quests? Would you rather delete some quests? And just leave a comment beneath the video. And yeah, so this was Psychosaurus, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Do I have a deal for you? good day.